Thank you, Nick. Robin, you had said that this was you were facing a team in good form and with a deep roster, despite missing some top players. But look, you did, and giving up two goals under defensive blunders under pressure.
Yes, Neil, the answer is yes. It is disappointing because I thought um, we did well with the ball. We were able to make our way up the field. We had a lot of possession. We didn't turn enough of it into being threatening. So that is a little bit disappointing. Very happy to see the movement at the very end. We weren't effective enough, and then really two just needless mistakes. And uh, Sean makes an incredible save on the penalty to keep us in the game, and then shortly afterwards we make another mistake. It was really a backbreaker. I think the second goal was.
We'll go next to John Molnar.
Thanks, Nick. Hi, Robin. How would you evaluate Alonso's performance tonight overall?
Overall, his performance was good. I think he looked tired. I think some of our guys looked tired. But overall, Allo has become a real focal point of starting attacks for us. And you could see still after the mistake, guys are willing to give him the ball under pressure because they trust him so much. The first goal was a huge mistake. But outside of that, I thought he was quite solid. And then toward the end, I just think the team was pushing so hard. Fatigue got us, and Allo as well.
We'll go next to James.
Thanks, Nick. Hello, Robin.
I think so.
Georgie couldn't seem to find much joy tonight. Is the team making enough space for him or getting him the ball in the right areas?
Well, I would say that the middle of the field was very crowded tonight. And you saw in the second half, he got more space on the left side. And I just think the way they defended, it was always going to be difficult in the setup that we were in today. It was going to be very tight space. And at times, he's got to roam around and find different spaces. In the second half, we saw a bit more of him as he found some room on the right side with Raul pinning the wing back and Georgie getting underneath. That's been certainly a big part of what we're doing. We've got him on the ball in the middle of the field, but the middle of the field is very crowded, and I thought he did a good job of finding space elsewhere.
We'll go back to Neil next.
Robin, just a six-man bench and a very young one. The cupboard was just bad.
It certainly felt that way. Certainly got some young guys. Guys came in and did well. I thought Simmer came in and did well, and Malik gave a good effort for the time that he was in. Rules had start tonight. So it was definitely, I think we miss his leadership, his intensity. We obviously also miss Richie, but they were missing it through the international break. You're going to miss some of your players. And it's really up to the rest of the group. And I thought that, in spite of all that, we had decent possession. We looked like we were in decent control. Obviously, we had to deal with some counterattacks as we're chasing the game. But yeah, it definitely felt
Thank you.
a little bit
next.
good tonight.
Robin, a first start tonight for Jules after he came off the bench in his previous 5 appearances. How would you grade his effort on the evening?
His effort was fantastic, and his awareness, I thought, was really good. I would like to have seen us put more balls in the box, let him battle for some things in front of the goal. He had some good hold-up moments. He had a couple of moments that he turned, looked to be threatening. Overall, I thought it was a decent performance. He didn't look like a young kid who was lost. Not at all. I thought he did pretty well.
Any questions?
Yeah, I actually got two for you. One is that first goal almost looked like he wasn't aware that Ibobasi was there, the way he turned into him.
I didn't see it, to be honest, so that we play Allo in tight spaces all the time. And his awareness of what's around him is pretty elite. And he doesn't normally get stuck or caught. And to be honest, I still haven't seen the exact play. But he had a giveaway earlier in the season that led to a goal against Columbus. And I was asked that you have to trust him. And he's going to make some mistakes. He's a young player. I don't know if he's ever played this much. I don't know if he's ever been this much of a focal point, but he has a real elite awareness of what's around him and an ability to find entry passes. That's take some chances. And we like to think as time goes on, the mistakes become fewer and fewer. But he's somebody who's been very valuable to us in this run where we played pretty well.
And what do you make of that red card at the end?
I was ranting and raving about what a nonsensical card it was, and I hadn't seen it properly, and I saw, and it didn't look that bad. I didn't see the whole thing, the whole play. And again, I was ranting and raving about the officiating, and then two things happened almost simultaneously. Al walked in, and I asked him what happened, and he goes, "I did, sure, and no, I have nothing." So,
Gotcha.
Go back to James.
Thanks, Ale. Robin, I'm wondering how much of tonight was just an example of the difference between a team that's 8 months or really just 4 months into their development versus a team that's got a couple of years in?
I really think that's a great question. We feel like we've made real strides this year in terms of our cohesion and playing like a team. And late in the year, we're looking at players, we're trying different things, and then we've rolled out a diamond for the last 2 days and the last 2 games, looking for what is the best setup for us. Is it 2 forwards? Is it 1 forward? Is it 5 in the back? Is it 4 in the back? So we're still experimenting. We're definitely in the building phase of this project, and we've seen really good progress throughout the year. We need to get sharper and sharper in the attacking end. And today was another example of us taking steps. And I know that the result isn't anything that any of us want, but it also gives us answers as we're looking at the possible way forward for the group. It's been really in good form for a number of years. So they've been through that process, and we are at the beginning of it.
Hi, Theo. Disappointing result against a very tough team on the road. How would you sort of evaluate the team's performance on the pitch?
Yeah, like you said, we played a very good team today. But the reality is, it wasn't good enough today. And although we had spurts where we showed, some very good build up with the ball, we had good possession at times. I felt like, it was just that final bit which was missing. And that's the clinical, but a little bit more direct. We lacked that final ball in certain moments. And obviously we're a new side. And some players today, we haven't played together, and so yeah, today's one of those days. It's a difficult day. I mean, I have a very bad feeling right now from this game. So although the final result was a loss, I felt like there's still things that we can take positives that we can take from this game. I actually thought we kept possession very well at times, and we were on the front foot. But like I said, it was just that final ball.
We'll go next to Neil Davidson.
Thank you. Theo, Robin was just telling us that this was only the second game that a diamond would be used in the midfield. You guys hadn't really trained much, and that really you guys are still trying to find the right roadmap, so to speak, in formation and things like that, as you're trying to find your way.
I mean, yeah, we're players, and we need to adapt and listen to whatever the guy says, and try and apply that as well as we can. Like you said, it's a new formation. We haven't had a lot of time, like you said, to play under this formation. However, we tried our best really to obviously, like you said, even though it's a new formation, at times, I thought we found, good passes. We linked up well with each other, but it was just that final bit, and just to get into that final third and get that opportunity to create something. We got something out of it. We got a corner, or we made a deep progression. So those are all good things, but today it just didn't connect, and that's the truth. Specifically in the final third. So it's one of those. We have one more week. We have one last game, and I felt like, although today's the case, I thought this past 2 months has been a very good period for our team. I feel like we've gelled very well, and we've put some very good performances on the road. Obviously 8 draws, it's not ideal at all, but even if we compare it to the beginning of the season, it's massive progress for the side, and for us players, it's a really big boost in our morale. Knowing that we can compete against these teams. And yeah, today's not a good day. These past couple of months, and how we've played and how we've competed, and even today we competed. But like I said, it was just the difference of one team being more clinical than the other, and having better opportunities. So we're going to be working to change that, and to start being a little bit more ruthless, making better attacks, making better decisions, and that's something for myself that I'm looking to work on personally, and obviously from a team perspective, that as well. So
Thank
yeah.
We'll go next to James.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, Theo. Both goals tonight came in transition moments, more or less. Did it feel a little bit like LA was setting traps for you guys out there?
I mean, yes, it was a little bit unlucky. I mean, the first one's a little bit of a lapse in concentration. But like a player like Alonso, he makes that mistake, but he's been phenomenal. He's been so good for us, and we trust him on the ball, and he's always on the ball. He's such a technical player, and these things happen. I mean, for example, like even Steven Gerrard for Liverpool had that slip, but that doesn't count him as a bad player. I was a very talented player, and it happens to the best of us. So that's just a bit of a lapse in concentration, but obviously I can't praise him enough for what season. So these things happen. I thought, even though we conceded, we were very brave, and we were testing each other under difficult circumstances, and we actually got out of the press on a few occasions too. Is definitely a big positive. And then the second goal, again, it's one of those. It's that's the truth. That's the word for it. It's when it happens. But again, Sifu's a player who died, and again, it's nothing's personal. It happens to the best of us. I mean, I think everyone's had a slip up in their career, and this is just one of those games. It's annoying. Huge players for us, 2 key players, and that we trust so much on the ball. And sometimes, in these difficult circumstances, when you're under a lot of pressure, these things happen. So we're gonna be looking to bounce back in this next game and finish this season off.